What if a single gesture, something you do every single day without even thinking, could deeply offend an entire nation of 125 million people? In Japan, pointing your finger at someone isn't just impolite. It's one of the most disrespectful things you can do with your body. Welcome back to AI Japan. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of Japanese culture that most visitors never fully understand: why pointing is considered so rude. It might seem like a small thing, but this single gesture reveals something profound about how Japanese society thinks about respect, harmony, and human connection. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 5 key reasons behind this cultural rule, and you'll know exactly what to do instead the next time you're in Japan. Let's get into it. Main content, 0:45 to 8:15. Point number 1. Pointing singles someone out, and in Japan, standing out is uncomfortable. Japanese culture places enormous value on the concept of wa, which means harmony. The idea is that the group matters more than the individual, and anything that disrupts the collective flow is frowned upon. When you point at someone, you are literally isolating them from the group. You're drawing every eye in the room toward one person, and in a society built on blending in and maintaining smooth social relations, that feels aggressive. Think about it this way. In many Western countries, individuality is celebrated. Being singled out can be exciting. It might mean you're being recognized or praised. But in Japan, the opposite is often true. There's a famous Japanese proverb: the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. Being pointed at makes you that nail. It creates an uncomfortable spotlight, and it disrupts the invisible social balance that everyone works so hard to maintain. Point number 2. It carries echoes of Japan's strict hierarchical past. Japan's social etiquette didn't develop overnight. It was shaped by centuries of rigid class systems, particularly during the feudal era when samurai, merchants, farmers, and artisans each occupied fixed social positions. Pointing at someone, especially a superior, was considered a direct challenge to the social order. It implied you were placing yourself above them, treating them like an object rather than a person deserving of respect. Even today, traces of this hierarchy remain deeply embedded in Japanese language and behavior. The Japanese language itself has multiple levels of politeness, known as kigo, and the wrong word choice in a business meeting can cause real tension. Pointing operates the same way. It's not just a gesture, it's a statement about your relationship with the other person, and in Japan, getting that relationship wrong has real social consequences. Point number 3. Shinto and Buddhist spiritual beliefs add a deeper layer of meaning. Japan's 2 major spiritual traditions, Shinto and Buddhism, both emphasize reverence, humility, and mindfulness in how you interact with the world around you. In Shinto belief, spiritual energy called ki flows through all living things. Pointing directly at someone can be seen as directing negative energy toward them, almost like an accusation or a curse. At shrines and temples across Japan, you'll notice that people gesture with open palms or slight nods of the head rather than jabbing their fingers towards sacred objects. There's actually a practical example of this that visitors encounter all the time. When you visit a Shinto shrine and approach the offering box, you'll see Japanese worshippers clap their hands and bow, but they never point at the shrine or the deity enshrined within. That same reverence extends to how they treat other people. Every individual carries a kind of dignity in Japanese spiritual thinking, and pointing at them diminishes that dignity in a very real, felt way. Point number 4. The Japanese have elegant alternatives that say everything without pointing. One of the most beautiful things about Japanese nonverbal communication is how graceful and intentional it is. Instead of pointing with a single finger, Japanese people use an open hand with the palm facing upward to indicate a direction or a person. You've probably seen this if you've ever been to a Japanese department store or train station. Staff members guide you with a smooth, open-palmed gesture that feels welcoming rather than aggressive. In conversation, when Japanese people want to refer to themselves, they don't point at their chest the way many Westerners do. Instead, they lightly touch their nose with their fingertip. It's a subtle difference, but it reflects the same underlying principle: minimize aggression, maximize gentleness. Even something as simple as handing over a business card is done with both hands, carefully and respectfully, because every interaction is an opportunity to show consideration. Point number 5. Misunderstanding this rule can have real consequences for visitors and professionals. For tourists, accidentally pointing at someone in Japan probably won't cause a major incident. Most Japanese people understand that foreign visitors have different customs, and they're remarkably forgiving. However, the reaction you'll get, a slight stiffening of posture, a quick look away, a barely perceptible change in someone's warmth, those are real. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice them. In professional settings, the stakes are much higher. A 2019 survey by the Japan External Trade Organization found that over 60% of international business professionals who worked with Japanese companies reported that understanding nonverbal etiquette was just as important as understanding the language itself. Pointing at a colleague during a presentation, or worse, pointing at a client, can damage trust in ways that are incredibly difficult to repair. Japanese business culture operates on long-term relationship building, and a single thoughtless gesture can set that process back significantly. There was a well-known case in the early 2000s where an American executive, during a joint venture meeting in Osaka, repeatedly pointed at his Japanese counterparts while making his arguments. The deal eventually fell through, and while pointing wasn't the only reason, Japanese participants later mentioned it as a sign that the executive didn't respect their culture enough to learn the basics. So let's bring it all together. We've covered 5 key reasons why pointing is considered rude in Japan. First, it violates the principle of wa by singling someone out from the group. Second, it clashes with centuries of hierarchical social norms rooted in Japan's feudal past. Third, Shinto and Buddhist spiritual traditions view direct pointing as a form of disrespect toward the dignity and energy of another person. Fourth, the Japanese have developed beautiful, graceful alternatives, like the open palm gesture, that communicate everything a pointed finger does, but with warmth and respect. And fifth, misunderstanding this rule can have real social and professional consequences, especially in business settings. At its core, this isn't really about a finger. It's about a fundamentally different way of seeing other people, one built on centuries of mindfulness, respect, and the quiet power of restraint. OUTRO and CTA 9:30 to 10 o'clock. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you understand Japanese culture a little better, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new episode from AI Japan. Drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever accidentally broken an unspoken rule while visiting another country? We'd love to hear your stories. And in our next video, we're exploring why Japanese people rarely eat while walking, another fascinating cultural rule with surprising roots. We'll see you there.